Morning, Sinkers and Nevis, and welcome to Voices for Wednesday, June 14, 2023. I'm your host for today, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the program. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Voices for Wednesday, June 14, 2023. It is 10 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you guys so much for joining the discussion for today. You can also follow this conversation via our social media platforms. Check us out on our Facebook page at WINNMedia SKN, as well as our YouTube channel, Twitter, and Twitch. Yes, we are live on those platforms. And of course, for the latest in what's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis, visit www.winmediaskn.com, and you'll also find stories about the things happening across the Caribbean and internationally. Well, there has been a lot going on in St. Kitts and Nevis over the past few days and weeks, and many people have been weighing in and giving their discussion. Most recently, the major talking point over the past few days has been on the topic of crime and violence in our country, and with the upsurge in criminal activity with the murders that have taken place. I think we are now at 16 murders for 2023. And so that has been a major talking point, as well as the housing initiative proposed by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. That also has had a lot of feedback from the general public, some for, some against. Today, most of an open ear, giving you the opportunity to call and share your views and opinions on any matter of national interest. And the phone lines are open. You can call us at 466-0989, 662-0989. If you are in the United States of America, you can call us at 718-285-6984. And if you are in Canada, call us at 305-921-4619. And for those of you residing in the United Kingdom, call us at 033-344-0065. That is 033-344-0065. The phone lines are open, and we want to hear from you. But as I've said, those have been the major talking points or the main topics, crime and the housing initiative. Other things have been taking place in St. Kitts and Nevis as well, and across the Caribbean, which has triggered I would say a very good conversation. Um, when you look at the issue of crime, and I'm listening to different views on this, everybody um, has a suggestion or a proposal as to what they think would work to respond to the issue of crime. We know it is not something that you can fix overnight. We know that it is not something that you could just put a plaster on and say, okay, we're good for this time, and then after a while it blows up in our faces. And so we know it is not an issue that you can just brush away or put on the sidelines. It is something that you have to tackle, and something you have to tackle aggressively in order for you to see any real positive change. It is never good news when we hear of these very unfortunate stories of gun violence in our country. Leaders across the Caribbean, ministers of national security, law enforcement agencies and bodies, they have been meeting and trying to come up with ways on how they're going to address the situation and how best they think to approach the entire situation. But it comes back to the question of basically, what do we do? What do we do? Do we take all of the recommendations that have been laid on the table into consideration? And sometimes you don't even know which one to implement. You don't even know which one is going to be successful because you just don't want to pick anything and apply it. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we had the peace program, and the name says it all. But we had the peace program, and have the peace program, and that program saw where individuals were given an opportunity to earn a living and work and do something. What we're seeing now is a transformation of said program, as there were some concerns of corruption in the program, where it is being said that the program was being controlled by one individual. And so what this administration has said that they're doing is trying to clean up that entire program. Now, I came across an article from the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service. They published yesterday, and the headline says, reform of the peace program will bring about real-life changing skills and opportunities for at-risk youths in St. Kitts and Nevis. It says that the administration remains committed to the reformation of the Alternative Pathway Lifestyle Program, commonly referred to as the Peace Program, with rehabilitation at the center. Dr. Drew, when he spoke with the media representatives recently, he said there was a need to bring about urgent changes to this program, as the evidence has shown significant mismanagement under the former administration. Basically saying that under the former administration, things were not going as they should have as it relates to this program. Dr. Drew said what he also found troubling is that because of the way the program was previously managed, school children are now aspiring to be placed on the peace program after completing school for the sake of just collecting a paycheck. And so I'm pretty sure most of you have heard this, where there are people who would sometimes they would joke about it, Others, maybe they're serious and we don't even know. But they'll be like, I can stop work and go on the peace program. Suggesting that, you giving up your legitimate job to go on the peace program, that you're going to make more money and you won't have as much work to do. That was the perception. Let me say that. That was the perception of the program. And I also recall, I think it was a police officer, somebody who visited a school, and they were having a conversation with some of the students there. And school children were saying, when they come out of school, they want to go on the peace program. Back then, your teacher probably would ask you what you want to be when you grow up, and some would say, I want to be like you. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a lawyer, a doctor, a farmer, a carpenter, a police officer. These days, the children are saying they want to be on the peace program, and that is troubling. That is very, very troubling, because it almost appears as if that you've set a precedent where you're saying, well, you no longer have to work hard for what you want. You no longer have to work for a living and make your own money and do what you have to do. It's like you are encouraging people to be lazy. They don't want to work. They just want to just do nothing. And that is really, really unfortunate. It is 20 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. The phone lines are open. We're taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. If you are in the United States of America, call us at 718-285-6984. And for those of you in Canada, call us at 305-921-4619. And for those of you residing in the United Kingdom, call us at 033-344-0065. If you have no calls right now, we'll take a break to acknowledge the sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue the program for today, Wednesday, June 14. Let's take this break, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
No, the real John of them drink Campari. Link up your girl with the Campari. Day or night with your Campari. Mix the pineapple, you can't run party. Campari, respect the bitter. Must be 18 years or older to drink responsibly.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the program. Let's head to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, you are on the air. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
And how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm giving thanks to yourself.
Not bad at all, man. Giving thanks as well.
Okay, and good morning to those who are listening at home and abroad. Your topic for this morning, I listened a while ago, and I gleaned a little bit from what you said. And prior to the change of administration, there was a special advisor, if one can call him that, in the Ministry of National Security. I think his name is Colonel Saunders.
Yes, something
who
like
was
that.
attached to deal with the whole
Yes.
peace program and trying to get members, parties from, both ends of the rivalry, and also as like national security, the Ministry of National Security, as mediators to try to get, even though we were told that in the minds of the youth, the rival on both ends of the rivalry, they are the ones who conceptualize, hey, let us talk, let us get, as one grow in life, one will get to realize and one get more responsibilities, having children and other responsibilities. It will become futile to think that we can be living this way for the rest of our lives. And so that is where the idea came from, the youth themselves, the rival gangs, if you want to call it that. And so, but being a mediator to these things, because one would be at loggerheads where, it's like no one wants to make the first go because of our ego. No one wants to come and sit down and compromise because of our ego. And so I said all of that to say, how best is, where is the colonel? Where is Colonel Saunders? What initially was he retained for? Is Colonel Saunders' office still available? Are the monies of the taxpayers are still responsible for retaining Colonel Saunders? Is Colonel Saunders being underutilized? Is Colonel Saunders, as he has done before, is still being sought after to really bring about some resolution or continue the efforts? These are the questions I asked before on another radio station, and I'm asking this as you yourself, Mr. Cornelius, you go and you sit with when Prime Minister has his monthly conference and the police and security forces have their conference as well. And these are the questions that I am asking because I am not privy to those press conferences as I'm not a journalist. And so these are the questions we are asking. Is the Colonel Saunders contract has expired? Are we just here waiting and hoping for his contract to be expired? Is someone else has been employed to do the services that Colonel Saunders once did? These are the critical questions I am asking because I always say that if you have a good thing going and whatever flaws there are, like anything else, you don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. You retain that vital component of whatever it is, and you build on it. Because the administration will do these things from time to time. From an administration conceptualize something, and whether it is a success story or not, another administration assume the responsibility of governance. They tend to want to reinvent the wheel. And that's the danger when it comes to this thing here, because it's blood, it's blood, blood like running like water in our streets again. Not just animal blood, as precious as animal blood is. We're talking about human sanctity. The blood that keeps us, all of us, functioning today. And the life is in the blood of everything. So this is very, very vital to me and critical. So I want to hear much more about Colonel Sanders. Because if we retain him then, and his contract has not been expired, we need to utilize his services. Thanks for listening.
Carla, thank you so much for your questions. I think very, very, very good and relevant questions. I in terms of what he's doing, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. I don't know if there's a new person in the Ministry of National Security in terms of there being a national security advisor. I don't know if he's still there, but I'll find out for you and for the benefit of the general public. But very good questions that you have asked, and all questions I think are relevant. But to answer your question, I am not aware of what his response, if he's still in that office, if he still occupies the office of National Security Advisor, and what he's doing and all of that. But I will be sure to find out. But again, the questions are relevant. People deserve to know what is being done. Now, when the Prime Minister had given an address to the nation a few days ago on the crime issue, and then the police force, the Royal St. Christopher Navy's police force, they came the following day. And they also outlined a number of initiatives that they're seeking to implement to tackle the issue of crime and violence, specifically gun violence, and targeting at-risk youth in St. Kitts and Nevis. And, looking at the two recent arrests that have been made by the police, the arrest and the charges that have been laid against these individuals, we must applaud the police force. I know we are always quick to criticize and criticize them whenever they drag their feet, or whenever it appears as if they're dragging their feet, because we don't know what is happening behind the scenes. And we have to remember, the police force is not everything that they can release and share with the general public, because you still have to maintain confidentiality and protect the integrity of the investigation to ensure that you don't tip off certain people. And so, in everything you could share with the public. But we have to give kudos to the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force for the recent arrests that they made in relation to two recent homicides that we've had here in St. Kitts. This is good. As I've said, whenever the police appear to be dragging their feet, we are quick to criticize, as we should. There's some people who want to jump down your throat when you criticize the police. So you have every right to criticize the police. If you don't like what they're doing, talk about it. And I see no issue with that. Bear in mind, yes, you do have some miserable people who they just find an issue with everything. Right? But I believe If you have an issue, you talk about it. You talk about it as long as it is a legitimate issue. And, being respectful and not disrespecting people. It's 11:34 here in the studios of WIN FM 98.9. The phone lines are open. We're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. USA, you can call us at 718-285-6984. Or for Canada, 305-921-4619. And for the UK, 033-344-0065. Those are the numbers to participate in the conversation for today. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. We'll take a break to acknowledge our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. This is Voices for Wednesday, June 14, 2023. I'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company, TDC for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company. Together we succeed, building our strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
Now, the real gen of them drink Campari. Link up your girl with the Campari. Day or night with your Campari. Mix the pineapple, you can't run party. Campari, respect the bitter. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to the program. Let's head to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Call us back, 466-0989. Caller, you are on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, sir.
How are we doing today?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad for my age. It's open line, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, I'm asking again to the news department and and journalists and things, please to find out for us from Dr. Joe and his government if and when they are going to pay the second part of the dividend that they promised to pay this month. If we are going to get it next week, Tuesday, so people can have some money to buy tickets for music festival or go pay bills or Marshall Bailey, go pay rent, whatever they owe. Right? Please to find out because we are not hearing anything. We hear Parliament, we hear press conference. Yes, sir.
Sorry, not to cut you. If I could give, I was listening to the Prime Minister at the round table he had on Tuesday. The question was asked. The question was asked by a journalist, and the response was that they're looking at it. So I can't. No. I can't tell you that. Well, I can't tell you when, but I'm just saying what he said in a nutshell.
He and his government promised that they will pay 2 6-month dividend. He told us one would pay the other day when it paid, and the other one will be June month end. We are looking for that dividend money. He cannot duck out of this now, and he ain't gonna come and come with playing no dog and monkey with this. We are looking for that dividend payment next week, Tuesday or Wednesday. So, Dr. Joe, the country is looking for that dividend payment next week, Tuesday or Wednesday. Right? The other thing is, we want to know what Dr. Joe and his government is doing about this serious water shortage. We are in his constituency alone because he won that constituency in promising the constituents that he will remedy the water problem immediately. And he has worsened the water problem in that constituency. People up there ain't getting water to the house who live on hill, ain't get water to the house for months. Can't use the washing machine. They have different pipes, and they have different water machines filling up bottles every afternoon. People got their $400,000-$500,000 house and bathing in the bath out of a bucket because they have to throw the bottled water them in a bucket and in a tub to bathe. And when they complain that when the truck do come around, most of the people are walking. So they need to set a proper schedule to notify people whether the fire truck or the water truck from the water department is coming around to dish out water, because they said that is how worse he has gotten under Dr. Joe leadership. That water truck and fire truck have to be bringing water to Dr. Joe constituents. And he won that constituency in promising he will alleviate the water problem immediately. That will be a number of his first things he will get done. The other thing is, you have heard me over the years asking the different governments, Lord, let us do some cisterns, let us get some large water catchment, let we get people to start, putting on spouting and thing on the house and catch the rainwater. Nobody listen to Carl Brown. But the Trinidad company come in now and come in to build these houses that is causing an uproar in the country. And they have, as part of the plan, they're going to put a cistern. So it takes a foreigner and a foreign company to come and to say this and put it forth in some form of plans or design. But when Carl Brown and many other callers to these programs suggesting it over the years to the different government, all of them ignore it. You see why we don't get down on them? Because every time we give them a totally free idea, totally costs very little to be done. He ain't gonna go up in no hundreds of millions of dollars, the ideas that we just give them. They don't take them. But when foreigners come in and so-called fake foreign investors come in with ideas, they take them. And they offer them lots of millions of dollars for those ideas that they get in here totally free. Right? The last thing, sir, we want to know if Dr. Joe and his government is going to refurbish, redesign, upgrade the peace program. And we want to know if it's true that a Jamaican lady is here as some form of advisor to the peace program. And why is it we have so much advisors here, counselors or whatever, right, who will offer the services for less than what they're paying her? Why they haven't gotten the job? And why they're giving the world the impression that St. Kitts is a place needing all these services and we are way behind and we have these people have them here with degrees. Degrees, sir. And Dr. Joe is opening up the country and letting people know that come to work, come to live. We have lots of jobs, and we have thousands of people here well want a job, well want work, and Dr. Joe can't provide no jobs. And the jobs he provides is people over 65, grandma and grandpa, and in the 70s, and paying them 10,000 and 10,005 up. I gone, sir.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. Very passionate. It is 11:45 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. We'll break at 12 for the midday news, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989, 662-0989. That's 466-0989, or at 662-0989. Call us today, call us now, and be a part of the conversation. Those are the emerging talking points. The housing initiative proposed by the government, and the issue of crime, and also water, as said by the Department of, or the Water Services Department, whatever they call it here in St. Kitts. The island is currently experiencing a drought, and so they are encouraging residents to practice water conservation measures or methods to save water, and they are addressing the issue. But people are upset. People are frustrated. You know, you come home in the afternoon and you're tired, you're dirty, you work all day, you're sweaty, you're sticky, and you can't wash your skin, you can't wash your clothes, you can't wash the dishes, you can't do nothing. Water is life. Yeah, water is life, you know. But at the same time, we have our role to play. We still have to practice water conservation methods and stop being so wasteful with the water. 11:47, the phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. Call us and be part of the conversation for today. Yes, those are the major talking points: water, the housing initiative, and the issue of crime and violence. As the caller mentioned, the housing initiative, I saw that the National Housing Corporation, they had put out something relating to the pricing for the housing. See if I pull up that information for you. But basically, it had outlined how much the homes are going to cost, and the size of these homes, and all of that, and where you can go to apply, etc. So I'll share that information with you. There are also some concerns from people who are saying, what happens if I am not in a position to afford a mortgage from a bank? What do I do? as the minister said, there are other housing solutions. So they are encouraging you to still apply and, see what can be worked out. So the National Housing Corporation had shared this information in relation to the homes that they are constructing. It says here that your feedback from the NHC housing fair has not fallen on deaf ears. NHC and East Coast have now come to an agreement to build the existing NHC sizes and models, 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms at no extra cost. The appliances still remain in the package if needed. A total increase in value with no extra cost to potential homeowners. So for the 1 bedroom, which is it was previously 450 square footage, is now 592. The cost is remain the same at 111,375. For the 2 bedroom, it increased from 862 to 879 square footage at a cost of 213,345. And for the 3 bedroom, it increased from 1,200 to 1,288, and the price remains the same at $297,000. You can apply at apply.nhc.kn. That's apply.nhc.kn, or you can visit their website at www.nhc.kn, where you can apply. And for more information, you call 466-4701. That's 466-4701. The housing initiative being proposed here by the government. There's also some more information being shared here by NHC. It says that the word smart refers to the materials and construction methods that will be used. When we say smart homes, we are referring to climate resilient building technologies that every new home built in syndicates will automatically be viewed as a hurricane shelter to withstand Category 5 hurricanes by 2030. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. What about you?
Well, I'm a bit disturbed.
How so?
I was hearing you talking about the new houses at NHC. But the houses that NHC build currently, right now, I think there's about 800 and something square feet. And the cost for those houses, when they finish, is like $180-something thousand. So, I mean, if you look at it, these houses still, they are smaller and cost more. And I also understand that the government is guarantee the company, the Trinidadian company, $150 million. If that is true, can you find out that for the listening audience? Can you ask that question for us?
I'll find out, yes.
Yeah, and if that is true, I think that deal need to scrap. Because the same $150 million, the government could actually use that money. NAC not too long ago built over 375 houses with $60 million. It was a $60 million loan from Social Security. So if that is true, you don't need a Trinidad company to come in here and take us. Who will put in the infrastructure for those houses? The roads and the water and who will put them in? Because I think based on the laws of the land that the developer is supposed to put in the infrastructure, isn't that so? Hello, you still there?
Yeah, I'm listening to you, caller. I'm listening.
Yeah, do you know about that law that the developer is supposed to put in the infrastructure?
No, I'm not familiar with that. I'm sorry.
Okay, you could find out and see. Maybe I'm wrong, eh? I'm not saying that I got all the knowledge, but this is a question that we need to ask. Who will put in the roads and those land that doesn't have roads and so? Who will put them in? Who will bear that cost? And the truth about the $150 million, that the government will guarantee the company. If that's so, that's $150 million will automatically go on our national debt. Are you aware of that?
I'm following.
So this thing need a lot of clarification so that the people could understand exactly what is it, what is the deal that the government enter. Because these questions is still yet unanswered. It is a smaller house for more money. Period. Thank you for your time, sir.
And thank you, caller, for your contribution to the program. You're listening to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9 for Wednesday, June 14, 2023. I'm Devonne calling you. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls. Call us today and be a part of the conversation. I'll try to get an answer or some answers in response to the questions that you've posed and the questions posed by the caller earlier. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls. The caller, you're on the air. Good morning. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, good morning again, Devon. Carl here. The another question you have to ask. If we out here who are retired, those who working, right, is feeling the squeeze and the pressure so much, well, what about the private sector? Those people who have all those businesses and nothing is happening in the businesses. If the government and the private sector don't sit down and come up with some plans and projects and programs and policies and put some very big injection in the economy, look out in the next few weeks or the next few months, you're going to hear these businesses laying off people, Because Devon, nothing is happening for them. And me is a customer, right? And I run people who have business and sit with them. And Devon, for the day you make $50. $50 you make for the day. And these are things that people need on a daily basis. And you make $50 for the day. So I am wondering when the private sector is going to call in the government. Don't let the government call you in. You call in the government and sit with them. And you work with a plan, projects, programs, and policies and let them know, listen, nothing is happening. And if you don't work along with us and make something happen soon, we're going to have to start cutting hours and laying off staff. Because, Devon, that is what's going to be happening very shortly. Because, Devon, the economy is dead like a cemetery when no funeral in there. Right? So I hope these two organizations could sit down and come up things. The government, I see tender this out a couple of weeks ago in the Observer for taking off, demolishing a number of buildings at the high school and things. I hope they get something started soon because the economy need about 3 or 4 large injections, Devon. And I'm talking about a large housing project which may last about 3-4 years. The high school which may last about 3-4 years. Roads, NHC with those houses that they're accustomed to build and building houses on people's land. Construction need a boom and a boost. The toys industry need a boom and a boost. The industrial site need a boom and a boost. Right? And the small vendors, them need a boom and a boost, right? Otherwise, Devon, our economy is going to collapse before the end of this year. Are you listening to free advice from Carl Brown Mine? Don't let investors to come in to tell you. Gone, Devon.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to the program. It's 11:59 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. We'll break at 12 for the midday news. And when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on 98.9 for Wednesday, June 14, 2023. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and I've been your host for the first hour. Let me say thank you so much for your contribution again. The callers have all raised very important questions, very important topics, and have asked relevant questions, the questions that the ordinary men and women are asking of their government and have every right to ask. From the questions posed, I gather that the issues are, well, this one is more recent in terms of the CBI dividend, because somebody was asking me about that, if that is something that the government is going to do this time. Again, I think the initial promise was every 6 months, and the last time that was paid, I believe, was late November or early within the month of December. So it was proposed to be an every 6 month initiative where people who contribute to the Social Security Fund, would receive a dividend depending on how much contributions you've made. Some payouts have been $250 or some have been $500. So that's it right there. Then you have the issue of water in Keyon and surrounding communities, the housing issue, and the issue of crime and violence. We'll take a break now for the midday news, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation right here on 98.9. Stick and stay. I'll be right back.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With the Win Midday News, I am Devonne Cornelius. In our headlines, locally, Keon Well will benefit surrounding communities. Across the region, more pressure on former BVI Premier as his co-accused set to turn on him in conspiracy and money laundering case in the U.S. Internationally, Donald Trump gives New Jersey speech after Miami court appearance. The details of these and other stories straight ahead. Minister of Public Infrastructure, Energy and Utilities, the Honourable Conris Maynard, during his presentation in Parliament on June 12th, gave an update on the water situation on St. Kitts. He stated that Bead Technology has located an underground source of water, which, if successful, through the drilling of a well, will generate about 500,000 gallons of water per day and 15 million gallons per month. Quote, this will directly affect not only the Keon and the surrounding communities, but also the St. Peter community, because at present, the water that we capture from rain that has been reduced by 40% is shared between St. Peter's and Keon area. The minister continued, if we are able to get the well in Keon done, and it is close to the 500,000 gallons per day, then we can divert all the water to St. Peter's that usually shares between Keon and St. Peter's. Maynard emphasized the government's commitment to solving and resolving the issue related to water and stated that plans are in play. He added that the Federation is experiencing a drought. As such, the government has employed short-term solutions to the problem. He said, quote, we are now adding about 4.6 million gallons per month, or about 150,000 gallons per day of desalinated water to our system via the arrangement with Royal Utilities St. Kitts, who, by the way, provides water services to the Marriott Hotel. We hope to, in the next 2 weeks to 4 weeks, increase that to about 4,000 gallons of desalinated water per day, or about 12 million gallons per month, said the Minister of Public Infrastructure, Conris Maynard.
In regional news,
I am Tahira Burke reporting. In today's primetime report, more pressure on former British Virgin Islands Premier as his co-accused set to turn on him in conspiracy and money laundering case in the United States. Former U.S. President Donald Trump appeared before a judge in Miami's federal courthouse on Tuesday in a stunning moment in American history, days after he became the first former president charged with federal crimes. Jamaica suspends consular services in Haiti after building housing the consulate in Port-au-Prince attacked by gangs in a dispute not related to the services. And Grenada to declare July 4 a holiday to honor CARICOM. Details of these stories and more straight ahead. Now for the details. It is now confirmed that the two co-accused in a conspiracy and money laundering scheme, along with former British Virgin Islands Premier Andrew Foy, will bear witness against him. Olivine Maynard and Hassan Kadim have now formally entered plea deals with prosecutors in Miami in the latest of a series of bad news for Foy, who is scheduled to go on trial next month. At a federal court on Monday, Olivine Maynard pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to import cocaine, and Hassan Kadim pleaded guilty to conspiracy to import cocaine. As part of Olivine Maynard's guilty plea, U.S. prosecutors agreed to drop 4 other counts, including money laundering and racketeering, and will recommend leniency during sentencing. As part of the female Maynard's plea agreement, she has agreed to cooperate fully with prosecutors in their case against Foy. For his cooperation in the plea agreement, prosecutors determined that Kadim was a minor participant in the criminal activity and therefore should receive a 2-level reduction at sentencing. Foy's jury trial is due to start on July 17. Former U.S. President Donald Trump was released without having to pay a bond after pleading not guilty to federal charges, alleging he hoarded classified documents detailing sensitive military secrets and schemed to thwart government efforts to get them back. Trump appeared before a judge in Miami's federal courthouse on Tuesday in a stunning moment in American history, days after he became the first president charged with federal crimes. Authorities say Trump schemed and lied to block the government from recovering the documents concerning nuclear programs and other sensitive military secrets stored at his Mar-a-Lago estate. It's the second criminal case Trump is facing as he seeks to reclaim the White House in 2024. Jamaica have suspended consular services at its consulate in Haiti after a gang attacked the compound where the consulate is housed overnight. Jamaica's Foreign Minister, Kamina Johnson-Smith, said Tuesday the services have been suspended indefinitely. Reports from Haitian media say that the attack was triggered by a purported land dispossession court judgment. 2 men, one said to be a bailiff and a justice of peace, reportedly sought to enforce the other, but were met with resistance. The compound security guards were subsequently overpowered and disarmed by the men, and the facilities were ransacked and painted with graffiti before sections were set on fire. Additional information from news outlets Haiti Libre is that more than 40 employees were held at gunpoint and subsequently prevented from leaving the compound before police arrived. Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith this morning announced in a social media post that consular services have been suspended as a result of the incident.
We are aware that the Sun Auto car dealership in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, was last night set ablaze and ransacked by criminal gangs. The consulate of Jamaica was located on the premises, and we have therefore expressed our sympathies to the owners of the dealership, to our honorary consul, and of course advise the public hereby that consular services in Haiti are therefore suspended indefinitely. We are awaiting further details, and again we express our sympathies and also our affirmation that the government of Jamaica in these circumstances have hardened our resolve to play a part in supporting all efforts to returning Haiti to the peace and prosperity which she and her people deserve.
The attack comes amid Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry's visit to Jamaica, where he is attending crisis talks aimed at helping to determine how the country can rebuild from the latest rounds of political and economic turmoil. Still in Jamaica, an investigation has been launched into a fire that destroyed the People's National Party constituency office in southeast St. Catherine on Tuesday morning. The Jamaica Fire Brigade is seeking to determine the cause of the fire. Emilio Ebanks, public relations officer at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, said units from the brigade responded to a call at 2 o'clock. He said when firefighters arrived at the location, the section of the building that was on fire housed the PNP's constituency office. He said it was too early to provide an estimate of the damage. Meanwhile, the PNP has condemned any form of violence or destruction of property irrespective of the motivation and the circumstances. The party is asking members and supporters to refrain from any actions or conjecture that may escalate tensions. The PNP added that it is working to establish temporary arrangements to ensure the continuity of services and engagement with the constituents of Southeast St. Catherine. This is Carib Update Primetime from the Carib Update News Service. Still to come, Grenada to declare July 4 a holiday to honor CARICOM. In more news, Grenada has announced plans to observe CARICOM Day with a national holiday. Grenada has made the decision to mark the 50th anniversary of CARICOM with a national holiday on July 4. This decision acknowledges the importance of the regional grouping to Caribbean socio-economic development. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell said that the Cabinet has agreed to a request from CARICOM for member states to mark the significance of the occasion. Leader of the opposition in Jamaica, Mark Golding, has donated 80% of his retroactive salary increase received under the new public sector compensation scheme to 6 charities. Golding said this is in keeping with his promise made at a May 19 press conference.
In solidarity with the rank and file teachers, police officers, correctional officers, and other public sector workers who have not been treated fairly in the recent salary restructuring and who feel aggrieved and demoralized by what the government has done to them, I promise to donate 80% of my increase to worthy causes. I retain 20% of the increase, which is the minimum increase awarded to anyone in the public sector in the recent pay restructuring. In keeping with my promise to the public, I have donated 80% of my retroactive pay, totaling $5,417,000 to worthy causes.
Golding said the percentage of his salary, totaling $5.4 million Jamaican dollars, was donated to 6 charities. He said the charities were selected based on the exceptional work in addressing critical needs within the Jamaican society. The opposition leader reiterated his call for a review and rollback of the excessively high salary increase granted to members of the political directorate.
I continue to call for the rollback and an independent review and reset of the unconscionable new salaries awarded to ministers and other elected officials by the Andrew Holness government. Time come to listen to the cries of the people and to do the right thing.
In Guyana, the ruling People's Progressive Party has won the majority votes in 7 of the country's 10 towns and will now dominate 82.5% local authority areas, results of Monday's local government elections show. The victory also means that the PPP will control 66 of the country's 80 local authority areas. The results also show that the opposition, a partnership for national unity, losing 40% of the areas it won in the last elections in 2018. This means that APNU will now only control 14 local authority areas as opposed to 23 last time around. The results reflect a massive loss of ground for the opposition, who is now under new leadership. Meantime, Guyana's Ethnic Relations Commission has declared that Monday's local government elections was free, fair, transparent, and conducted in an atmosphere of peace. The commission made its declaration after observing polling at over 250 polling places in 5 administrative regions. The commission has reiterated its call for Guyanese to respect the results. Trinidad and Tobago's main opposition, United National Congress, has announced that it is in talks with smaller parties in a bid to fight the upcoming local government election. Party leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar made the announcement while speaking at the UNC Monday night report.
And tonight I make an appeal, let us all unite and come together to remove the wicked Rowley government. Tonight, I tell you from this platform that we have been holding discussions with other groups. And I'm letting you know that we will begin further discussions in the coming weeks with any one of the smaller parties who are willing to fight the local government elections together with the UNC as a united force.
She said if the UNC can achieve this and work together over the next 2 years, the local government election will be the first step to removing the Rowley government.
At least 2 smaller parties have approached us. Discussions have begun. Some of my senior members have begun discussions with them. If we can come to an agreement in time for this next local, we will fight as a united force, capable and ready to take on the PNM. But I'm drawing a line in the sand. I will not tolerate any disrespect to UNC members from anyone who wants to come forward to work with us.
Prasad Bisesa said the UNC can fight alone, but will have discussions and then make a decision to go forward.
Some of you may feel UNC should run this thing alone. Of course, the UNC can run it alone, and we will if we have to. But how much greater can we be? What a joyful noise we'll make unto the Lord if we all come together, united, to fight this wicked government. What a greater battle and victory that would be. If we can achieve, as I say, and work for this local, that is step 1 to the bigger step, the final step to remove the PNM.
Prasad Bisesa also called on the Keith Rowley-led administration to say if it intends to launch a 25% inheritance tax on beneficiaries of deceased persons.
I have been told, and I call on the PNM to come clean about this 25% inheritance tax. You know what that means? Your parents pass away, you pass away, you leave a little something for your children or your grandchildren. Before they could get it, you have to pay proper inheritance tax. It is a tax you pay when you receive money or property from the estate of a deceased. Unlike an estate tax, the beneficiary of the money or property is responsible to pay the tax, not the estate.
She also asserted that the government would establish a threshold value under which no inheritance tax will apply.
Once that value is surpassed, they will put on the tax.
St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Terence Drew has condemned what he called attempts by the opposition to politicize St. Kitts and Nevis's recent crime surge. Speaking in Parliament on Monday as he tabled amendments to the Firearms Act, Drew said addressing crime and violence is something that the society must address.
I've been in politics for about a decade. My first time in Parliament, and I never ever sought to make crime and violence a political issue. And the reason for that is because I'm a medical doctor and I understand the underlying causes of these things. And these issues are national issues and should be treated as such. I learned something this morning that the pastor who prayed for us, Pastor Evelyn, informed me that OJ was his son. And so I want all of us really to convey our condolences to Pastor Evelyn. A lot of us did not know that. That is why I want to call on the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that we should work together to make sure that we deal with this scourge once and for all.
The Prime Minister highlighted that his government is looking to stop the crime surge by adopting strategies to combat violence from the ground up.
We must know, and we have been given the information for decades now, that this is an issue in the Caribbean that has to be dealt with from its root. I went to a symposium as the Prime Minister, and also as the Minister of National Security in Trinidad, where we sought to look at crime and violence from a public health perspective. It is a broad concept, but it is a concept that has been well studied scientifically and will deliver results.
These have been some of the biggest developments from across the region. For more news, log on to CaribUpdateNews.com. Carib Update Primetime is a production of the Carib Update News Service. Reporting, I am Tahira Burke.
Mr. start the programme in the US, where former President Donald Trump has given a defiant speech to his supporters in New Jersey following his second court appearance in 3 months. Mr. Trump dismissed the latest set of indictments put to him at a courthouse in Miami as an evil and heinous abuse of power. His lawyer pleaded not guilty on his behalf to charges that he willfully mishandled national security documents and obstructed justice. Our reporter Helena Humphrey is in Miami.
I think it's fair to say that for a moment of such significance for this nation, historically, politically and in the future, it was relatively short-lived here in Miami. You can see the federal courthouse just behind me, and this is the scene where former President Donald Trump entered this courthouse for under 2 hours, and where, as you say, his attorney on his behalf put in that plea of not guilty on those 37 federal criminal charges. And as extraordinary as this moment was inside the courthouse, it was the scenes outside as well. I spoke to Trump supporters outside saying that they believe this was the politicization of the Department of Justice, repeating lines from Donald Trump saying that this was a witch hunt, that Biden instead should be the one who is investigated here. There were some vehement critics of Donald Trump, but they were far fewer in number. Thankfully, we can report that there didn't appear to be large-scale violent scenes. We certainly had been concerned about that. There'd been some concerning rhetoric online, and then Donald Trump sped off to Bedminster, and then he even stopped in his motorcade to speak at a restaurant here, Café Versailles, which is very popular with the Cuban community here, where he was seeking to do some kind of impromptu rally, saying it's a sad day for the nation. And my colleague, our North America correspondent, Nomi Iqbal, wrapped up the day's events for us.
It was a spectacle that only Donald Trump could create. His supporters and critics gathered outside the courthouse. Extra police officers were brought in to keep everything in check as his motorcade eventually arrived and he entered the court, becoming the first ever former president to be federally prosecuted in US history. A man who tore up the rule book now faces the rule book being thrown at him. He sat in court as the 37 charges were read out. It's alleged that he kept US government secrets in a shower, bathroom, ballroom and bedroom of his Mar-a-Lago estate. He pleaded not guilty.
For President Donald J. Trump, Alina Habba.
Outside court, his lawyer repeated Trump's lines that this was a political witch hunt.
What is being done to the President Trump should terrify all citizens of this country. These are not the ideals that our democracy is founded upon.
But it's a narrative that works with his supporters as he campaigns to be president again. He immediately showed up at a local cafe where supporters sang happy birthday. He turned 77 on Wednesday.
Even though he is under federal custody, he is not considered a flight risk and soon got on a plane to New Jersey to make a speech.
Today we witness the most evil and heinous abuse of power in the history of our country. Very sad thing to watch. A corrupt sitting president had his top political opponent arrested on fake and fabricated charges of which he and numerous other presidents would be guilty.
Constitutionally, this case does not disqualify Donald Trump from running for the White House again. He can be both defendant and candidate, and if found guilty, could even potentially be convict and president. Nomi Iqbal, BBC News, Miami.
In the space of one day, Donald Trump has efforted essentially to take his legal perils and turn them into political opportunity in his bid for the White House in 2024. And there is potential good reason for that as well. When you take a look at his legal defense, many legal experts are saying that a presidential run may be one of his best forms of defense, cognizant of the fact that the Department of Justice is not in the habit, they don't usually indict a sitting president.
Let's speak now to Julie Norman, co-director of the Centre on US Politics at the University College London. Thanks very much to you for joining us. It's pretty clear, isn't it, from Donald Trump's speech there and what he's been saying all along, that how he's going to handle this. He's going to make it very personal against President Biden and very political, isn't it?
Absolutely. And this has been Trump's playbook from the beginning with these legal challenges. It's to frame it as the deep state out to get him, framing himself as a victim, framing the whole process as a witch hunt, and really using that to galvanize his campaign. And we've seen that in the response of his supporters, with over 75% saying they are either just as supportive or even more supportive of him than they were before this conviction. So it's a narrative that does work with his base, even as I think it does alienate many independents and moderates.
It's a lot depends now, doesn't it, on how the Democrats respond and how they use this. In terms of President Biden, I suppose he's already said a lot about how he hasn't had any involvement with the Justice Department in terms of this case, but whether they try to make political gain out of it.
Well, it's a really tough needle to thread, and Biden is being very intentional to not comment, to not be involved in this. He's given directives to his re-election committee, to the Democratic National Committee, not to be seen as politicizing this even more. They're trying to make it seem like this is a Department of Justice independent case that they are not pushing, involved in, commenting on. And, you know, Biden's getting some blowback from some Democrats from that, who think he really should be leaning into this and twisting the knife, if you will. But I think Biden is playing this right. It's already an extremely politicized case. He doesn't need to stoke it any further by seeming like he's personally engaged in it.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that his competitors in the race for the nomination aren't using it either against him. They've been broadly supportive, haven't they?
That's exactly right. So Trump's Republican competition have been pretty much parroting his own line about a politicized Justice Department, about just witch hunt narrative. And it takes a different tone with different candidates, some coming very directly to Trump's defense, others focusing more on the politicization of the Justice Department more broadly, but really quite worrisome. Many candidates suggesting they would pardon Trump also if they were to win the nomination and the presidency. So a lot of rallying around Trump.
Why
and
are I they think doing that, though, do you think? Why are they rallying behind him? You would expect, you know, people to use things, obvious things against him, wouldn't you?
You certainly would, and it's a real indication of where the Republican field is right now. All of these contenders are trying to win the Republican primary. Within that Republican base, at least a third, if not more, are very solidly with Trump. So even as these candidates are trying to get others' support, they need to be very careful, or trying to be very careful, not to alienate completely that key voting bloc of Trump voters. So it's a sense of, we might make some criticisms about the process in general, but try and avoid criticizing Trump directly to avoid alienating that part of the base.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Bastille in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
June is the month of fathers and dads at Horsewood Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Home Store. So come now for their dad deals and discount sale event during the entire month for dads in June. This Fathers and Dads month of June, get up to 30% off on TVs, recliner TV stands and mattresses. Yes, get dad deals and discounts up to 30% off on selected items, including TVs, recliners, TV stands, mattresses, and more. Happening now and for the entire month of June for fathers and dads at Horsewood Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Home Store. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Welcome back to the program. Let's head to the phone lines and we'll take some more calls for this afternoon. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, stranger.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Man, are you giving God thanks enough? Even the Lord, I said, if this is hell, I wouldn't want to go. What a piece of heat. What's the temperature? Can you hear me?
Sorry, could you repeat that? You had broken up a bit.
What is today's temperature?
Oh, I don't know.
90 how much?
I think somebody said it was about 90 degrees, just about that.
90 and some. Let me do my preliminary and then get to something. Yesterday was my brother Oliver Abba's birthday. Belated birthday, Oliver, to you. I want to thank a young man. Saturday I was on the radio begging somebody to bring some bush to make tea for me. A young man came yesterday and brought some. So, a Rasta man, God bless him. So thank you, mister. I do appreciate it. I try to drink bush tea every morning, Now,
that's good.
On Sunday, I was listening to 2020 Vision, and Dr. Daly and Mr. Daniel and another one were on the show. And Mr. Daly made some remarks which I think were quite interesting, in that he said he was informed that part of the reason for the flaring up in the violence was the removal of the mediators or intermediaries. According to what he learned, that there were 2 persons, I think they were all policemen, 2 persons assigned in Nevis and 4 in St. Kitts, to whom the members of the different gangs, if they had a problem, they would take it there and he would help them sort it out. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't have any information on that.
Have you ever heard about it?
I heard about it, yes. I did hear about it, but I don't have any specifics on it.
Yes, because he said that is the reason, because they have nobody to go to now. So if that is still the situation, Dr. Joe and his people need to correct it. Now, the matter with the houses, Dr. Hanley said, if you want them to build on your house, then if the land is already paid for, then you will pay the 100 and something, the prices they call. But if it is not completely paid for, they would add the balance on the land to the house. If you do not own any land, in addition to the prices they call for the houses, you will have to pay for the land. He did not, however, say how much it will cost. Because remember, they have now increased the size of the land. So, maybe you need to give an idea as to maybe how much a square foot they intend to sell them for. Now, if you have money, if you got extra money, especially young people, buy one and rent it out. That become an investment. You think about that?
No, but that's a good idea.
Eh?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, if you don't want to live in that. Because even some of the NHC houses that people got, they rented them until the market was down to a certain level that they could handle it. So if you don't want them to live in, apply for one. Once you know you're bankable, So all you civil servants will pay sure. And some of you in some public enterprises, and you have a reasonable pay. Go for one. You don't have to live in it. Because the mortgage, the more you're able to pay for the mortgage, is the quicker you will finish. I'll call back.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to the program. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. Those are the numbers for calling us on today's edition of Voices for Wednesday, June 14, 2023. I am your host for today, Devonne Cornelius. Let's take this call. Caller, you are on the air.
Good afternoon, tourists.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We discover on your cruise.
I discover a thing.
Okay. You're nothing to Columbus then, so I believe you. Okay, my little thing today. You have a special topic?
No. Open
Okay.
discussion.
No, I would ask you a question. Now, when the Creator made the world, and He made us, we did not evolve. He made us. And He made us with many different colors. But we all came from the same Creator. So now, if I come in your house, Devonne, you did not invite me in here. You did not give me any permission to enter your place. You ain't give me no key. I come in your house, you in there. I come through the window in your house. And I take up all your valuable possession. And I get to find where your money is and I take up that too and I go on with it. Do you think because of my color is the same color like you should let me get away with that?
If repeat that question again.
No, if I come in your house and I take up all your possession, you did not invite me in there. You haven't given me any key to have access to come in when I want. But I came in your house as an intruder through your window. And I take up everything you have in there, valuable, including your money, and I go with it. Do you think you should let me get away free like that because of my color? Like my color is your color?
No.
Right, thank you for that. Now, some people are of the opinion that when others do wrong, all because they are black and they're from the same Caribbean area, whether OECS or ESOC, whatsoever it is, you must not judge them, not judge, pass decision on them to punish them for the wrong that they do. Wrong is wrong and right is right. And color has nothing to do with when you're wrong and when you're right. When you're wrong, you should be condemned. When you're right, you should be uplifted and applauded. Now, in sports, in the world games, championship games, and Olympics, from gold, silver to bronze, those are the three that go on the podium. And it doesn't matter whether you win bronze or whatever, and you win, after that, there is a test to see if any one of you consume any enhancement to make you perform to win that day. And if they find that you take any banned substance to enhance you victor, they strip you of what you claim that you win. And that's why you see it's supposed to be that way every day. People are supposed to own what they have and what they need legally, not ill. And then people don't come and say, oh, because he black or she black, it's okay for them to do it. That seems like the trend happening here in St. Kitts now. You could come in here illegal and go in the line with people who are here in the country legally to get what is offered to those who are in the country legally. And you illegal. And you go in the line for that too. Can't work so. But some people are of the opinion that once you're black, you could come in any country wrong and then get the same rights as those who are in the country right. That's all I have to say today, Devonne. Thank you very much.
All right, Colin.
When next you go in cruise?
I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your contribution to this program. I want to play a commentary from Dwyer Astafan. I have it loaded up right here. So I will pull it up and play it for you. It's about 13 minutes, so have a listen.
Greetings. Like many of you, I have a short list of plumbers, electricians, refrigeration technicians, and other tradespersons whose services I engage from time to time. Well, about 2 weeks ago, I had an urgent need for a plumber, but none of those on my short list were available. So I put a broadcast on WhatsApp requesting my contacts to help me with names and numbers of plumbers. The response was swift and overwhelming, and I was deeply gratified and touched by the kind and considerate assistance that I got from my WhatsApp friends. It caused me to reflect and to give thanks for the goodwill that exists among us, and I mean among us generally in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I think it needs to be said at a time like this, when there's so much hurt in our hearts. We are finding goodwill as well, and we need to promote and project and live the goodwill. And I felt that just in a simple response, the size of the response, the speed of the response, and the willingness to help. So I thank my friends on WhatsApp for that. That also caused me to reflect on the use of the internet and smart devices. That was good use. And there are thousands of other ways to use the internet in a good way. But look how badly it is misused. Even used as a weapon of degradation, abuse, dehumanization, destruction, lies, deception. We can do better as human beings. And this little experience, it may sound a little hyperbolic, but this little experience, just trying to get a plumber, and the response caused me to reflect because of the amount of goodwill that flowed back so quickly to me. Back to the plumbing story. So many names and numbers were sent to me that I was happy to know that we have that many plumbers in St. Kitts. And I'm sure there are more. I then called some of them randomly, and I got one to come, and he got the job done for me. All of them were professional. All of them were courteous. I'm talking about our people. We like to put down our people. We like to put down ourselves. Stop it. And this professionalism and courtesy from the plumbers with whom I spoke not only gratified and touched me, it impressed me and put a thought in my head. Not an original thought, but a thought which I will share with you. I'll get to it shortly. So my plumbing problem was solved. Great. Then just 3 days ago on Sunday, my dryer stopped working. The dryer at home. Lots of laundry. The dryer wanted to conk out on us. Again, none of my shortlisted technicians were available. So I put out another WhatsApp broadcast requesting assistance. And again, the responses came back quickly and voluminously. Number of names were sent to me. Again, as was the case with the plumbers, the technicians with whom I spoke were all courteous and professional. Those who were available and those who were not. Our people and one of the good technicians sorted out the problem with the dryer, and we were able to get it working the same day, Sunday afternoon. And the thought that all of this has given me is this. We have a lot of plumbers and technicians in the country, our own people, and some from our sister islands in the region. What would happen if instead of seeing each other as competitors and rivals, they would now see each other as partners and teammates? There are more and more homes and other private and commercial and government facilities in our country which will require on an ongoing basis the services of these tradespersons. There is sufficient work to go around and for everybody to do well. And I want to encourage property owners to make sure you maintain your plumbing and other amenities in your house in good condition. So there is sufficient work to go around. And as more projects come to the country, these projects now need to be seen and used by our tradespeople as opportunities for them to get in on the act and get work. And in this effort, they need the support of the government, of the private sector, and society as a whole. But they need to make the initiative. The technicians, the tradesmen, and tradeswomen, they need to take the initiative of coming together and forming alliances, whether in a union to join the already existing union, the St. Kitts Nevis Trades and Labor Union, to form associations, whatever you call it, come together. So when projects come your way, if it is too big for Peter, it is not too big for Peter and Paul. And if it is too big for Peter and Paul, they can add Mary and Rosemary. So we can adjust and provide the resources, the human resources, that these incoming projects will require to be taken to completion and then to be maintained. So again, let me ask, what would happen if these tradespeople we have in St. Kitts and Nevis saw themselves as brothers and sisters and each other as brothers and sisters rather than as competitors? They need to understand that they have a much greater chance to achieve individual and collective success if they come together, forming whatever it is they want to form. And it could be formal or not, once they are in fact together, if they work hand in hand with each other. As I said, any job or contract that comes up must be made first available to them. They say, Parson, Christian, they won't pick me first. We live in a world where there's a lot of talk about open and fair trade, but a lot more talk than action. And our tradespeople, like the rest of our people, need, especially in a small and vulnerable economy like ours, need some kind of protection and preferential treatment. And as I said earlier, if a job is too big for one, then 2 or 3 or 10 or 20, and they must be facilitated and encouraged and supported by the government and the private sector and by society on the whole. When they join up, they will be better able to assert themselves to the point where everybody, every stakeholder, every interest group in the country will have to recognize and respect them. Private sector, public sector, local and foreign investors, politicians, you'd be surprised to see how much attention and support they got if they joined up together, because that's a lot of votes. The whole dynamic of the politics of the country will change in a flash if our people in this country decided to join forces together and stop seeing each other as competitors and rivals and enemies. And while they're grouping together, they will want to be constantly on the watch to improve their skills, their techniques, their value, to raise their standards and their sense of responsibility as a serious stakeholder group in our economy, in our society, and in our political affairs. Now suppose that not only our plumbers and technicians came together, but all of the other trade people, our contractors, our taxi operators, and those are a special group for me. I have been urging them for the last 25 years to come together as an economic force in the country. Imagine the economic power, the spending power, the bargaining power, the leverage our taxi operators would have in this economy if they came together on the major issues, not on every issue. But in spite of the urgings, it seems they have always been able to find reasons not to come together, seeming to prefer division over unity, poverty over prosperity and depriving themselves of becoming the important, successful, and influential economic and social partner that they can and should be in this country. And what has happened to them, our taxi operators, over the years? Seems to me, and this is not a happy thing to say, that they've become weaker and weaker, pushed aside in their only profession, their only way of making a dollar, being pushed aside over the years. And worst of all, allowing themselves to be pushed aside. One of the causes of that being their refusal to come together. I pray that they will turn things around, and that while they're doing so, I pray also that the tradesmen, the technicians, the contractors, and the other sectors will do the same. Get together. It'll make the world of difference for the better in every way in this country. Yes, it will take a lot of effort and a lot of sacrifice. And one of the major hurdles which we will face and they will face is the historical hurdle, the deception that has been embedded in the psyche, the weaving of distrust in the national psyche over the centuries has brought us to this point, divided and weak, while other people find ways to be united and strong. When you are made to be divided and weak in your own country, when in your own country you refuse to take up the challenge to combat divisiveness and weakness, to find common ground for the betterment of yourselves, your children, generations to come, then we have a problem. And that is a problem we have. It is a hurdle that our people need to overcome. We need to break ourselves out of that deception, because the consequences of remaining divided, isolated and weak, and the consequences of letting things continue as they are will be terrible. Your grandchildren will spit on your graves in disgust and contempt. And I can guarantee that if you do not move now, you folks in the trades and the other sectors, every day you put it off, it's going to be tougher. Stop finding reasons to oppose and to be hostile and to be distrustful and to be hateful. Stop finding and stop giving reasons. Let your grandchildren be proud of you. Leave a legacy of togetherness, efficiency, proactiveness, and nation building for your children. God knows the need that kind of message now. In my own little way, as always, I'm willing to assist. Feel free to call me, 662-4921. If you're serious about getting together, call me. If not, don't waste your time. On an even more general scale, as I end, I want to encourage us to be our brothers and sisters' keeper, to do unto him or her as we would have him or her do unto us. Give him or her the respect and the value that he or she deserves as a child of the same God who made us. I urge us to rescue ourselves and to redeem our country. Nobody else will. Thank you. God bless. And remember, together we are stronger. Together, more prosperity. Together, more happiness. Fight off the negative vibes. Thank you very much.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is again giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars in cashback for free groceries with every hire purchase. Will be given back this coupon season. Happening now. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in cashback coupon to all our hire purchase customers this coupon season. Starting now until December 2023. You get absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase at our Horseman's Furniture and Appliances Appliances stores on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. So riddle this. Where can you get quality furniture and appliances at great prices with a flexible FlexPlay plan and with absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase? Riddle that. Cashback and Horseman Furniture and Appliances on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is giving you over $250,000 in cashback and a chance to win free groceries for a year. Riddle that cashback. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Welcome back to the program. You are on the air caller. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
How are you today?
I am blessed. Yeah, I was just listening to the little tape there with Mr. Askafan, right? And he's talking about the plumbers, the electrician, and what the case may be. Does these people he's speaking about do have a union for the electrician and the plumbers and else what? Because Mr. Asghar mean well, but I could tell him the heart is out of the stable and he cannot get back in. Nobody is going to. The reason why some people cannot get the work, because furthermore, the first thing they're going to say, oh, you're not one of us, which means you're not a labor, so you can't get a piece of the pie. You're an electrician, or you're not one of us, so you can't get a piece of the pie. And that is the whole ball game that's going on in this federation. It could be over Nevis, and it could be here. And that is the whole ball game that's going on, Mr. Cornelius. Which I said, Mr. Askar mean well, he is my friend, and he often say, well, if you have a friend doing wrong, and you call the friend and you explain to the friend that what he is doing, stop it, and try to live a life of his own for his family. And he's not going to let go of the friend for the friend to do worse. He's going to monitor him and see that everything goes well with him. And that's what Mr. Askar Mr. Askar mean well, but there's a lot of people in the federation do not like Mr. Askar for certain things that he normally said on the radio about certain ministers of government and things. That is the past. But we in the federation, we need to have an understanding of each other. Where can we go to benefit the factors of life? Because my children, my grandchildren, and my grandchildren's children need to have an understanding about life. And when my eyes are closed, that will be it for them. I do not know where they will be going after my eyes closed, but I want to see the best for them. And that is what Mr. Askar is. But what happened, the union again, that doesn't see people getting their severance pay from the Labour Commission office. They're dragging the foot with the Labour Commission office. There are a lot of people who have been asking me, they ain't getting nothing yet, but Curtis, who used to call the Prime Minister a big stone, don't get his. And people who fight the way all the time cannot get no answer from them to say, well, X, Y, Z. And the Prime Minister is coming on and saying, all who work in the COVID, he'll situate at the get pay. But some of us cannot get our pay. So when Mr. Askar is coming on and talking about unionize, that is the whole downfall of what's going on in the Federation. You have a good afternoon.
All right, you do call, and thank you for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9 for Wednesday, June 14, 2023. I'm your host for today, Devonne Cornelius. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls at 466-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines, and we'll take some more calls for this afternoon. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, good afternoon again. How are we doing?
I'm doing good.
I see you took some time to chew. How is Nevis?
Nevis is nice.
Nevis nice. Well, I tell you, one of these days, you know, when Kitty going to pack up and come over. You all can deport us. Everybody got the grandmother and the grandfather and the uncle and the auntie. But let me tell them, like what they say, Division they say. You're going to land over here, you know. Grandfather is not land over here for you. So to all the free men in Rollins are coming from the land. A little humor good, you know. Now, I listened to the Prime Minister's round table and also to the police press conference. I am more confused, you know. Now, the Prime Minister said he has a communication system in place. So I am asking the question, not alleging, I'm asking the question. When they have these press conference and round table, are the scripts prepared ahead of time? Why I say that?
What scripts you mean for the Prime Minister?
No, you know, sometimes, well, yes, well, his which I expect. But
okay.
the police officer Adams, well, he's ACP?
I think so, yeah.
Right. Now, he made a statement which I think is very incriminating, you know? Because somebody said he was part of the Second Chance program. Is that true?
I don't know.
Well, if it is not so, then, officer, I'm not talking about you. Someone said that he was part of it. In his presentation, he indicated that the persons were taking advantage of it, which you would expect if you got people of certain kind of mindset, and the other thing that went on. So I am saying, if he was a part of the team or the committee or whatever, and he knew these things were going on, what was his response to it? You heard what he said, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were abusing it and using it. You get the point?
Yeah, I follow where you're coming from.
Because if you're part of it and all of these things going on, what was done to try to curtail it or stop it altogether? Because people who are in it, you know, they are part of it. Everybody finding all kind of excuse. The next thing the Prime Minister with these dialysis machines. At first, the impression was given that they were new machines. Did you get that impression?
That they were new? Well, that's what I thought. They're not new machines? They're not new machines?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because somebody was talking about how they're not working and whatever, and some part missing, which he dismissed some of it. But he said they have to get somebody to come down and do some work on them.
So you know that they're not new machines? You know that for a fact?
That is a suggestion. I want you to see if you could listen to it. When he was asked the question about it. I don't know if it's when you weren't there. I don't know, somebody was talking about the machines, some parts missing and not functioning. And he said that somebody's supposed to come in to do some work on them. Now, let me give my Prime Minister a little advice. You have some institutions abroad who feel that these small countries are dumping ground. If you would recall, we had a lot of ambulances up in the hospital yard. You ever go and see them there?
Mm-hmm.
They give you the second-hand things, knowing full well you can't afford to maintain them. So when that would have reached their life, if in our accounts, they were written off. They give them to us. And the next thing you know, they run 1 year, 2 year. They park up. There was a whole fleet of them up in the hospital yard. They don't know what they've done with them. So if they can give us new ones, tell them no thank you. We have gotten other vehicles from other people. Same story. They run a little couple months, then they park up. We can't afford to maintain them. So please, while it sounds good, you know, but it don't make no sense to come say, oh, well, we got this and we got that and we got the other, and you can't use them yet. And you advisors, we have one in particular who is very dismissive. People would raise issues and just dismiss them. That's not the way to go. And please, for the police, everybody in there intelligent enough to present their own scripts. Because these things they make, they sound too manufactured by certain elements. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, forgive me, but they don't sound original. They sound just like what I expect from certain individuals who call themselves, what do they call them? Those who work with the Prime Minister or other ministers. They sound very much so. The tone is not good. So all I would say, please, Mr. Prime Minister, down here not a dumping ground. Better to wait and get new ones, and when you source for St. Kitts and Nevis. Because in some cases, Nevis cannot go out and solicit, and they know that. So when you are begging, know for sure you're begging for St. Kitts and Nevis, the foreign minister, when you're begging, know for sure you're begging, you're not begging for the Labour Party. You are begging because this issue with the housing. You can tell me 2,400 houses. 2,400, you know, just try to imagine that. And you don't say, well, all right, I am going to offer 400 to Nibians. We're just trying to make ourselves look good. And this issue, I want people to take up the manifesto, start to put X on some of the things, then you fully well, or you're going to get dividends. You have a business? You have a business? CBI is not business, you know? They bring in revenue for the government. And up to now, you can't get an answer. We can't hear how much, so we could do a little rough calculation. How much you're pulling in. Because if you're pulling in enough to give the dividend, then pass it. We don't want a vague thing about, oh, you know, and I'm in a business. All you have to do, which is the manly thing to do, is a manly thing. If you know you said something and you are unable to do it, tell people. It's better to be honest, you know. Because something they said, then you fully well it could not be done. Tell the people now, because some people are waiting. They are not even stopped to consider, and as Carl Brown say, let me get to the private sector, and I'm done now. It is up to the private sector, you know, to provide jobs, you know. Some of them need to go out and bring in enterprises. Why they can't bring in something? Why? We have these large companies. Everybody coming in here as merchants. You realize that? Buying and selling only get a margin in case people don't know. All they do is add a margin. Some of them have enough capital to do something to provide job for people. Some of them in the investment thing, they could. So we expect not only the government, but the private sector also to assist in creating employment. I'm not saying just to add people to your store or your shop. You have connections. And these telecommunication services we have here. Why they can't put a call center in Nevis? Nevis has the equipment. You call the business, when you ain't calling Jamaica, you must call in St. Lucia, you call in Mexico. Eh? And you hear that Nevis says that they have spare equipment, and they have rooms. Flo and Digicel, the two, and coach too. I mean, sometimes you're on the phone running up your money.
All right,
so
Carla,
please.
Quickly wrap it up because we want to take some more calls.
You're going to wrap it up. So I'm calling on these enterprises. It is up to you also, not the government alone, to provide jobs. All right, then.
All right, thank you so much. Let's go back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. It is 1:23 here in the studios of WIN FM 98.9. We'll take a few more calls. Call us at 466-0989 or 662-0989. Let's take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devonne.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. And earlier caller, I think it might have been Carl, asked about the dividend. I remember an ex-prime minister saying that you can't get blood out of stone, right? When there was plenty, you got plenty. When there was none, you got none. And so in those circumstances, I agree with Mrs. Henry on this, the more important question would be, how is the CBI doing? What are the inflows, right? I know you have been pursuing that question for some time now, and you were directed where to go to find out. I don't know if you followed up on that. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that is the question that I think should be answered. What is the state of the CBI inflows? Because that is what is going to determine whether or not the dividend can be paid. All right? The impression was given before that it was something that was going to be a mandatory payment every 6 months. It probably was the wrong impression because, like I said, if nothing is there or not enough is there, then it can't be paid. It's as simple as that. Okay. Of course, you can borrow money to pay, but it doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. With regards to crime, we should all commend the police for what was really prompt action in apprehending the suspects. I think I guess we still have to call them that. Okay, because I think that was what was immediately needed: a robust, muscular response from law enforcement to catch the criminals. Right? There could have been no progress, I think, with the other solutions. And you mentioned that there are lots of solutions floating around out there, ideas floating around out there. But you have to have the environment in order for those things, those long-term things, to work. Okay, you can't bargain or with hardcore criminals who are prepared to snuff out people's lives just like that. Right? That shows a kind of mentality that you really should not negotiate with. Right? And I disagree with Mrs. Henry in that she said essentially that she heard that the committee that was supposed to be involved in mediation was disbanded and that the government should reinstate it. Well, I don't think you can mediate between people who will kill just like that, okay, over an altercation, over some problem they're having, okay? So what should have happened, I think, is that the gangs themselves should have been dismantled, To talk about a mediating committee between gangs is basically legitimizing the existence of gangs. And is that what we really wanted to do? You can have a mediation committee or whatever you want to call it between individual people, legitimate groups, but not between gangs. That is asking for trouble. Right, so that should have been done, I think, to during the intervening time when the initiative was progressing over the years. all right? And no attempt seemed to have been made to do that. As a matter of fact, just earlier this week, I think it was Mr. John L. Powell who lamented the fact that the program had been badly managed. He basically confirmed that it was a gang's initiative that were, and it became contaminated with politics, right? Now so it's not just the police, the high officials in the police who are making the claims that the money the initiative was being used to promulgate gang activity, illegal activity. It's not just them. So it's not a matter of talking points that they were given, right? This was somebody who was a minister in the previous government who's essentially confirming that things went wrong, right? And you don't correct the things that went wrong by keeping in place things like the same people who did the wrong, the same management structure. Otherwise, you're going to get the same outcomes, right? So I think at least now that we know that the police were on the ball and at least can reestablish some confidence among the society that they can deal with the upsurge. Now that we have a better environment, we can pursue this softly kind of approaches that, everybody realizes that it's a complex problem. It's going to take all of society approach, and there are no quick fixes. It's going to be a long, hard slog.
Yes.
All right? But at least the apprehending of two of these suspects give us at least some, shall we say, confidence that things are not out of control, totally out of control. That was absolutely necessary. Just couldn't have a society where you get in this level of mayhem. It was going against all other attempts by government to have progress in the country. Right? Law and order has to be there in order for there to be progress. So let's hope now that going forward, we don't know for sure if there may be another upsurge. Let's hope not. But if there is, let's hope the police would be on it, law enforcement would be on it. Let's hope that if there are new laws needed to empower them to do their job, that this is done quickly, because that is supposed to be our number one priority. That followed by two other things, which is keep the politics out of crime. It is still there. You can tell from the releases from the various politicians and political parties that they still want to mix in politics with crime and suggest that, if they were there, it would not be the same, or they did, or make claims like to sanitize, for instance, the past program, claim credit for it, because as one said, the statistics don't lie, when in fact the statistics can be skewed anyhow you want. You can say that there was a decrease in crime because of COVID, and security generally was much tighter, right? But that has to be established. The facts has to be established. The way it was managed has to be established because that's still out there. Somebody asked about the National Security Advisor, if he's still in his role. All these things are out there, up in the air, and I think we need to firm up exactly what it is, what the present status is insofar as the peace initiative, and then we bring everybody together, because like I said, lots of people, and you said, lots of people out there with ideas, including opposition, civil society, the church, everybody, and chart a course for the way forward. And don't be afraid to try something different. If it doesn't work, then you try something else, right? But we can't just be reactive and just go along with the flow. What happens. We try to deal with it and keep putting out fires. That is not the way. That is not the plan. All right. So we got a lot of work to do, and at least we have a good start in terms of the law enforcement. Certainly seeming over the past couple of days to be more proactive in terms of apprehending criminals and doing fixing or making sure, monitoring the cameras, etc., to make sure that we're a step ahead of the criminals. All right, then.
All right, Colin, thank you for your contribution to this program. This has been another edition of Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9 for Wednesday, June 14, 2023. And I've been your host for today, Devonne Cornelius. It is 1:35 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9, and we're going to bring this program to a close. Let me say thank you so much for the participation, from listening to the callers, various issues that they've touched on, CBI, the housing initiative, crime and violence, water, employment, and so much more. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday and enjoy the rest of your week. Take care.
Is unknown. Protect your life, your family, and your valuables from unforeseen circumstances. Let National Caribbean Insurance give you the peace of mind that you so deserve. At NCI, we offer a suite of affordable insurance plans that can be tailored to ease your financial burden. We aim to deliver exceptional products to satisfy all your insurance needs. Whether life, health, motor, or property insurance, NCI has the right solution for you. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales professionals are ready and able to assist you. Let National Caribbean Insurance